Welcome. We are here with Sandra Clark. Sandra is our LinkedIn expert today. She will be sharing with us a few tips so we can improve our profile on LinkedIn, either to improve our chances of finding great jobs, or better opportunities, or also to improve our business page. So welcome, Sandra, and I'm going to let you begin and share with us your expertise.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining on a Saturday morning when I'm sure you've got other things to do. I am Sandra Clark. I've been doing LinkedIn training and coaching now for 10 years, and I love it. This is my dream job. I worked for the University of California for 25 years. Thought at that point I would stay there till I retired. They had other ideas. They pushed me out the nest, and who knew, but I could fly. And I would never have imagined myself as an entrepreneur, but it's been great. And I get to combine everything from my past into one place. So once upon a time, I was a teacher. And once a teacher, always a teacher. So the way I approach LinkedIn is always by teaching people. I was also a theater director. And I like to say I used to make people look good on the stage. And now I make them look good on the stage of LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So I specialize in what I call social media for the socially reluctant. And, originally I thought of that being more age-based, that as we got older, we got more uncomfortable with it. But it turns out, I teach people in their 20s and 30s. It's like, oh, let me just do my job. Don't make me market myself, put myself out there. So it's a very common theme that I find. And so as I go through my slides today, I'm just going to be talking. The slides are just meant to kind of help me to give you visuals of what things look like on LinkedIn and help point out the ideas. If you have questions, comments, thoughts, please do put them in the chat. When I'm showing the slides, I can't see the chat. So I'm going to be relying on Patricia to communicate anything to me. And if it's relevant to what we're talking about right now, she'll cut in and ask. Otherwise, we'll kind of make sure that we've answered them as we get towards the end. But please do put them in there when you've got that idea, that thought, put it in the chat. So typical clients, and I like to mention my typical clients because sometimes people feel, gee, I'm smart. I should be able to do this stuff. Well, yeah, I work with smart, busy professionals. So they're busy doing what they're good at. And if they took the time, they're smart enough, they could go and figure out all this stuff out. But they're busy doing what they're good at. So to spend a couple of hours with me, get it done, get pointed in the right direction is going to be fast and efficient and just be better for them. So it might be anywhere from, might be job seekers. It might be, I work a lot with job seekers who what I call are stealth job seekers, meaning they're looking, but they don't want their current employer to know. I work a lot with business owners and coaches and consultants. Lately, I've had a lot of coaches I've been working with. And I also work with a large group of people who I would loosely call thought leaders. They're successful in their careers, and they just kind of want to be known for that expertise that they have and bring people to want to work for them or to work for their companies. So you're in good company. So just in the chat room, if you want to just put quickly, are you, you have your own business, you're looking for a new job, just kind of put in that so that when we start answering questions, we'll have some kind of idea of what your angle is. Do you have a full-time job and you may be thinking of starting your own business? Just put that in the chat, and then Patricia will kind of fill me in a little bit. So this is honor system here because I haven't had a chance to look at your profiles. Thinking about your own LinkedIn profile on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being, I think I remember my password, I'm not sure. It's been so long since I've gone in. Through to 5, which is, dang, I'm good. I don't know, I thought I'd pop in this morning and see if I could pick up a couple of tips, and 3 somewhere in the middle there. So just put in the chat 1 to 5, and we'll kind of look at that in a moment, and Patricia will kind of give me a summary when you put in where you think you are with your profile. And although I've got basic information in this presentation, I've also got some advanced tips So there should be something for everybody. I'm going to be talking about creating a great LinkedIn profile, about attracting attention so people want to come and look at it. And for me, the big thing is the power of connecting, making connections on LinkedIn. The goal is not to just add random numbers, but to actually use those connections that you have. So mistake number one, and I've changed this mistake number one since I first used to do this presentation. I used to just talk about it, mistake number one, not having a LinkedIn profile at all. Now I hope that I'm speaking to an audience that at least has a profile, though I do still have new clients who don't have a profile at all. They've never needed to. Now, after 30 years in the same company, they've been laid off, they need a profile now, or they want to start their own business and they realize they need that. But I have a new mistake number one now. And that is, any of you remember the old movie, Field of Dreams? And that's letting it sit there and think it will come. So sometimes people say, well, I a few years ago, 3-5 years ago, I created a great profile. I paid someone to do it. It looked really good, but nothing's happening. Well, LinkedIn doesn't work like that. You need to do things to bring people to look at it. So just having it look good and pretty is not going to be enough. Good start, but not enough. I like to mention a few numbers. I used to have more numbers because I usually have a few numbers geeks in the crowd. But there's over 500 million users worldwide on LinkedIn. I used to change the number all the time, 500,000, 600,000, and I gave up. So now I just say over 500 million. There's 2 new users per second. All those people are potential connections for you, potential business, potential employers or clients. Sometimes people will say to me, you know what? I never got any business from LinkedIn. And I said, okay, well, how much business have you lost through LinkedIn? And they'll say, well, I don't know. I go, exactly. You don't know who's looking and then walking away because they don't like what they see. So you need to pay attention to at least have a presentable looking LinkedIn profile so you're represented well when they come and look. My rough formula for LinkedIn success, my magical mystery formula, not rocket science, and I will get to some details in a little bit. I'm just starting from the overview here. So it needs to be complete, all the basic components filled in. That doesn't mean everything. You can fill in a ton of things in LinkedIn, from your associations, licenses, certifications, but all the basics need to be there to be found. You need your keywords. If you don't know what your keywords are, have a discussion with a friend, with a client, with a business advisor. You need to know what your keywords are. What are the words that someone would use to look for you? If you're an IT professional, they are not going to be looking for hard worker. If you're a business owner, they're not going to be looking for the words entrepreneurial. Those are descriptors of kind of your qualities. I'm not saying they shouldn't be in your profile somewhere, but it's not a keyword. You need to have a certain number of connections, and I'll talk about how many connections I think you need in a little while. Activity is huge, really important. This is actually logging onto LinkedIn counts as activity, but engaging is really important on LinkedIn to be visible. Sandra Clark, I have a really common name. I see a lot of you have rather unusual names, probably easy to find you. Me, there's thousands. But if you put Sandra Clark in the LinkedIn search bar, in general, I'm going to be one of the top 6 suggestions that LinkedIn makes, because the algorithm says, hey, if you're looking for a Sandra Clark, really good chance you're looking for this crazy lady because she's active on LinkedIn. So that's my reward for being active. So all of those together give you maximum visibility and high search engine optimization, SEO ranking. This is specific to LinkedIn, but it does have implications for Google searches as well. Basic components of a profile. I'm going to go into detail on a few of these, but I'm just going to go over. Remember, I said it needs to be complete. So you need a photo. I'm going to talk about what kind of photo. Professional headline. I'm going to talk about that in more detail too. Your about section. It used to be called your summary, but LinkedIn likes to change the names of things all the time. Your job history adds to your credibility, who you are, what you're bringing to the table. Your education, your skills, your contact information, and your connection. So those are the basic components, and I'm going to go into a little more detail about some of these in a minute. Now, people want to refer you. At least I hope they do. In general, if you meet someone or you've done business with them or you've worked for them or with them, they like you, they respect you, they want to refer you. When I refer people, I usually give people the LinkedIn URL. And sometimes they go there and they say, well, I'm not seeing the person that Sandra recommended to me. So make it easy for them to recommend you. So mistake number 2. Okay. No, I used to just have no headshot because some people don't have a headshot on LinkedIn. Now I've added old or bad headshot. If you don't have any headshot, you actually do. You have this. You've got to back up your head. You're saying, oh, don't look at me. I'm ashamed and embarrassed. You might see how old, fat, and ugly I am. Please don't look. Okay, I won't look. Thank you. I'm going to step away and look at somebody else's profile. People are much less likely to connect with you on LinkedIn if you don't have a picture. When I'm talking to somebody on the phone, as we do so much business by phone, I look at their picture on LinkedIn. Because I'm doing that, I feel like I'm having a real conversation with you. I'm inclined to smile more. My hands are usually going like crazy. Should have been Italian. So I use that headshot. You want to convey a warm personality, a nice smile, professional looking, just the head. We don't need the rest of the body. The size of the photo is pretty small on LinkedIn, so keep it tight, just a headshot. Nothing weird or arty. Unless you're an artist, maybe I'll let you get away with that. In general, not black and white. You want a color photo, high resolution. The photo on the right-hand side on the slide, at least, looks a little bit low resolution, like he's taken the picture from something else, and when he's cropped it or put it on LinkedIn, the resolution is not great. Or it may just be because I've made it bigger on my slide. So you want to look like you. People often ask, how old can my photo be? So you want to look like you. You want to look like you on a good day, not your best day, not your wedding day, not your kid's wedding day. I am sorry, you are never going to look like that again. You want to look like you would look like going into a professional business meeting. Now, admittedly, right now, it's a little tough. We're all in desperate need of haircuts and hair coloring. So I'll give you a little bit of leeway right now, but you still want to have it look like you. 2 to 3 years maximum. Women are tricky because we change our hair color voluntarily or not frequently, but you want to look like you. So your headline. Now I'm going to get into something that I'm guessing a number of you are guilty of. Your headline, and it is called your headline. It is not called your job title at the top of your profile. It's your mini advertisement. Every time you participate on LinkedIn, you comment or post something, your headline shows up right under your picture and your name. So in my case, I've got LinkedIn, consulting, optimizer, speaker. You know, you've got some keywords that help you be found, identify very quickly what you do. You might have a tagline, optimizing LinkedIn profiles for results, or whatever it is. The default in LinkedIn, when you add a new job, the default in LinkedIn, unless you uncheck a box to say, no, don't do this, is to overwrite your headline and put that new title in at the top. IT technician at XYZ utilities. Or you have your own business, owner at Susie Q Consulting. I'm sorry, Susie Q, but that is a total waste of time. The only person looking for that search term owner is somebody who wants to sell to you. They're looking for that term. We want to know what it is you do, what it is you're going to do for us. You're going to help, you're a coach. You're going to help transform the way that I feel about my work, make me happier in the workplace. I don't know what you're going to do, but tell me about it in your headline. And so if you do nothing else after listening to this today, give yourself a new headline. Go ahead and email me, and please do connect with me on LinkedIn, send me messages, and tell me what your headline was, and I'll be able to see what you've changed it to, and I'll be happy to give you a bit of quick feedback. But if you do nothing else, please improve your headline.
Sandra, a quick question. Is it okay if I ask you a question now?
Yeah. No, you can't.
No.
Yeah, please do.
So this headline, you said that unless you uncheck something in LinkedIn, it will automatically default to your job title and the company you work for. Where do you find that unchecked thing?
When you add a new job, so you add a new job, owner at Susie Q Consulting and whatever, and you kind of scroll down, you have a chance to like when you worked there, when you started, and then there's a little box that will say, make this my headline. And it shows what it will look like. Just uncheck that box. And if you accidentally forget, never mind, you can go back and just fix that headline manually yourself.
Okay.
LinkedIn does that a lot. They think they're trying to be helpful, but they're aggravating as heck because they put I call them little landmines, things that you can accidentally check or not check, and it does weird things to you.
Thank you. That's
I'd
great.
love to see better headlines for everybody.
I have another question. Sorry.
Yeah.
What those little stars that you have there? How do you get those there?
Okay. Well, I could tell you go and find Unicode. Okay. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't know Unicode from a unicorn if I saw it. Yeah, so what's easier, if you go to my profile under my About section, I've got a little thing when you click on more at the bottom that says icons that work well in LinkedIn. And you literally just go there and steal it from my profile. You just copy and paste. Okay. So you can go and find Unicode. Some icons from Word work, some don't. Okay. It can be a little tricky, or you can do a search for Unicode. There's a lot more that you can use. I figure like using too many, it gets too busy. So it's easier just to go to my profile and steal them. That's what they're there for.
So and Elena has a question. How do I take a professional photo? Elena. So I think, I think you may want to, and I'm assuming that you have a professional photo for your other business. I suppose that's the one you upload there, right?
In general, yes. I mean, sometimes, I don't know, I haven't done it. I don't think I have it now, but I had a photo that I used for LinkedIn, and I had one that was from, I think, the same photo shoot with a different jacket. Oh, I know, it had my jacket over my shoulder or something. It was just a little more casual, and I used that for Facebook.
Okay.
But in general, you want a professional headshot. And you know what? Even a photo taken with a camera out in the backyard with good lighting, right now, if you can't get a photographer, is better than something cropped from a party you were at that you thought you looked good, but it's terrible.
That's true. Our phones are just amazing, with all the cameras, and it's so easy to do that.
I mean, if you're a professional, you should have a professional headshot, but I will let people off the hook sometime. And lately I've had a couple of executive clients who just didn't have a photo, and I was desperate to get them to have a photo. So I sent them out into the backyard with their teenage son and teenage daughter to get a photo taken. In the case of one, she said, I'm going to have to wait until my daughter's talking to me again. This being, in confinement with one's teenagers has not always worked well.
Oh, yeah.
So mistake number 3, the default headline. Wait a minute. Okay, these are some of the things and examples of what I've seen and some examples of what you could do. So unemployed at self. I literally have seen these things. Self-employed at nowhere, which is the equivalent of self-employed at Susie Q. Owner of XYZ Consulting. All of these just have this results from me. They're boring. They don't tell me anything. So if you give me a little more information, these are some examples. Now they're from different industries. They may not be relevant to you, but we've included a title, in this case, Senior Manager, Digital Marketing. But now we're communicating a message to grow revenues, win customers, increase market share. Project Manager, CMS expert and consultant, technical trainer. Marketing executive, branding, communications, growing champions for products, brands, and companies. Now, those to me create a little more excitement. I hope they do for you too. So I'm going to be excited when you send me your headlines. So background banner, it's free, it's easy. I had one made for me because I'm not clever that way, but you can use Canva, you can create your own, you can get a picture that you have the rights to use, make sure you do. I used an image from, for a blog one time. I got fined $500 from Getty Images for using a photo I didn't have rights to, so make sure you have the rights to use it, or create one yourself, or get one made. It adds some pizzazz. Why would you not? And if you work for somebody else, another company, you still can communicate your brand. And that might be geographic, somewhere that you live, just an attractive San Francisco Bay, the skyline, the bridge. A lot of people use the Golden Gate Bridge. And if you're feeling there's ageism in your community, maybe your background banner is a picture of you snowboarding, because you're kind of communicating kind of an energy that you have, even though you're saying, hey, I'm not old, I'm not done for yet. So lots of different things. Create a background banner. Your about section. Now, LinkedIn made this change a year or so ago. So people who had a great summary, now called about section, a few years ago, that told their story. We went to your profile, we saw it all. Now we only see the first 3 lines. Now this looks like more than 3 lines because I made the font big. This is actually just my first 3 lines of my profile. And that's all we see. And that might be all you get people to look at, because I don't know about you, but Silicon Valley, we all have short attention spans. Who clicks on the see more button? Not too many people. So my formula for your first 3 lines. Now your whole summary can be a total of 2,500 characters. It used to be 2,000, they changed to 2,500. You don't have to use it all, but you can use a bit. But the first 3 lines are really important. So I recommend you include something compelling, intriguing. I specialize in social media for the socially reluctant, is my attempt to be intriguing, a call to action, and also what I'm going to do for you. Make it client facing. I'll help you transform your LinkedIn profile to get the results you want. Contact me. So tell me what you're going to do for me. Make it about client facing. And then below that, in your 2,000 remaining characters, you can tell me more of your story about how you got the expertise you have, what you do, but make those first 3 lines count. You can also add images and other rich media. So you've got the background banner I showed you. You can, there's a brand new feature section on LinkedIn where you can add videos, articles, posts. Please do take advantage of that. That's a really powerful place for you to add, and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is on my profile. I've added a video, a kind of a document, and a blog post.
So I have a question from it. Elise is asking, contact me, email address, what do we use in the what do we use in the contact information? Email address? Or?
Well, I'm in business to do business, so I want to make it really easy for people to do business with me. I've got my email, my phone number, and my website. I want to make it easy for people to reach me however they want to reach me. That phone number I've used there is my Google free number, rather, and that rolls through to my cell phone number, so that when I retire, maybe I'll retire one day, I can just remove that, still keep my cell phone number I've had 30 years. But if you don't want people reaching you that way, you can say, connect with me through LinkedIn. Let's start a conversation. Maybe people don't want their information out there. Make your choice, but tell them what you want them to do. I want to make it easy. You might want to control it a little bit. Yeah. I don't actually answer the phone unless it's expected or scheduled, but I want them to be able to call and leave a message if it's their preferred thing.
Right. Thank you, Elise, for your question. I'm sure many of us had the same questions, so thank you.
And please do use this featured section. It's brand new. It's literally just last month, and the majority of people are not using this.
And that's the about feature you said?
Featured. It's called featured.
Okay, featured section. Okay.
Feature a blog. You can feature a website, your YouTube channel, a PDF, a flyer, your one-page speaker sheet, all kinds of things. Some of them don't look attractive there, so you have to load it. If you don't like the way it looks, maybe delete it and then add something else.
So if you're looking for a job, sorry for interrupting again, but if you're looking for a job or a new career, would it be a good idea to put maybe some projects PDF that you've accomplished? Or
think of this as your portfolio.
Yeah.
So if you won an award and there's a picture of you, you would add it here. If you did you were in marketing and you were participated in helping put together a video or an ad campaign, absolutely. Sometimes in some professions it's hard to think of what you could put there, but if you have your own business, you better have something you could put there. Mm-hmm. Show you're open. This is brand new. If you're looking for jobs, I'm not looking for a job, but I am open to guest speaker training consulting. So I've actually added this section part so I can show my job seekers. You might remember in the past, you could show that you were looking for a job just to recruiters. You now have the option to show it to everybody on LinkedIn. And there's a lot of people looking. So
yeah, I'm sorry again. For upper, I mean, this is super cool. Open to job opportunities. Now, obviously, you're not looking for a job, but you are looking for gigs or for
right. So I put it
speaking.
there.
Okay.
I'm cheating the LinkedIn system to make it work for me. Sometimes you've got to do that.
As a business owner, that's useful. Yes.
And then some of you will have this other thing on the right-hand side, providing services. Not everybody has that. If you have it, you'll find it might be frustrating because there's limits to what you can put in there. For example, I can't put in LinkedIn training there. That's not one of the options in the drop down. But I can put these other things. So if you've got your own business, if you have this section, by all means add it. If you don't, consider cheating and using the job opportunities, even though you're not actually looking for a job. And I have things on my profile sometimes just as examples, because it's like, I don't want to invade people's privacy by using other people's profiles as examples. So I even have things on my profile I don't like, but they might work for something. So I'm going to keep moving us through here. Size of your connection, your network matters. If you have under 100, you're only visible to 5% of the LinkedIn population. Now 5% of 500 million is still a lot, but what you want is definitely more than 500. Now you're visible to 95% of the LinkedIn population, essentially everyone, but I'm not going to let you off the hook there. In general, I recommend you have at least 30 connections for every year of your age. I will pause while you do your own mental calculations there. Often when I'm doing this talk to an audience, I see people's eyes go big. I can't see you here, but I'm guessing some of you are a little overwhelmed. But that 30 is, you meet at least 30 people professionally a year. Why would you not connect with them? That network will help you. I don't say connect randomly with just everybody. I say connect with people you know, people you'd like to know, and people who know people you'd like to know. And that makes it a little broader. My criteria might be a little different than yours. I might connect with someone who has a bad LinkedIn profile because I can see they need my help. And you might look and say, gee, they don't look very professional. There's not much there. It's kind of can be a gamble. If it looks like they're just going to try and sell you right away, I don't connect. Or if I connect and then they try to sell me, I just delete them. I remove them as a connection, which is easy to do. Who to connect to. So yeah, please broaden it a little bit. That starts to become the power, because then when you do something on LinkedIn, those of you who have your own business and are posting content, you want to increase. And you increase your visibility, not by posting, by engaging. Like, comment, and share will actually get more visibility than posting original content. Congratulate people. Although it's behind the scenes and it doesn't show to others, the algorithm has now learned you like that person. They comment back behind the scenes. All of that is making your content, when you do post, more likely to show up. Comment on other people's posts. When you comment, your headline, that nice new headline that now advertises your services, shows up with your name, very visible. Make an offer to help. It's not always about selling. When I connect with people, I send them a message and I say, anything I can do to help. Maybe it's LinkedIn help. Maybe it's, oh, I see a member of a certain organization. Could you introduce me? It's not always about selling. So, and it doesn't always have to be online. Call or plan an in-person meeting. Pick up the phone. If I see it's a friend's birthday, I don't say I might say happy birthday to someone on LinkedIn, but a friend, I'm just going to pick up the phone. I use it as a reminder, or as a reminder to pick up the phone and plan an in-person meeting when we can meet in person again.
So I have a couple of questions from Elise. Is it a good time?
Sure. We're back to the question now. This was going to show if any of you are more than one thing, where you have a job, but you also are starting your own business. I have a download, a specific to you, and Patricia is going to share that link as well. And she might put that in the chat. I'll access the chat in a minute. But now it's all about questions.
Okay. So Elise has a couple of questions.
Of course, Elise
She
does.
said she doesn't see the section called featured on my profile. Has that rolled out for everyone? And then her
Yes.
other question is her connections go back 15 years and most are no longer relevant to her business. Does she clean house?
Okay, first one's easy. There's a little blue box on your profile that says Add Profile Section. Click on the Add Profile section, and there will be Featured. Click on Featured, and it will give you the option to do these things. I've got a little video about adding a featured section. I think probably under my featured section or somewhere. If you can't find it, let me know. And it sort of goes into about 9 minutes of detail about how to do that. But it's right under that Add Profile section. Cleaning house is an interesting one. That whole thing of people you know, people you'd like to know, and people who know people you'd like to know. I'm connected to a lot of people through my speaking engagements. So, for example, I've spoken to associations for administrative executive assistants, connected to a lot of admin assistants. They are not my target audience, but because of them, I'm only 2 degrees away from half the CEOs and executives in Silicon Valley. Not too shabby. So look at those people who are no longer relevant to your business and see whether the people they're connected to might be. And if they might be, it's not going to hurt you. If you feel that it's just so irrelevant, it's not, you can remove them. But you just don't know. Sometimes people come out of the past and might need your services or know someone who does.
I do have a question. I'm often wondering, there's people who want to connect with me because they want to sell me something, right? So sometimes I still want to be connected with them because they could be a good person, a good expert for me to refer to my clients, something that I don't know anything about, like for example, you. And then there are people who are not happy with their jobs and they're thinking of starting a business. They will be better customers for me. Is there a way to divide them or separate them into lists in LinkedIn if you have the free?
But with the Sales Navigator, which is the most expensive or one of the most expensive tools there, which is good. It's a sophisticated product, but most of us are probably not going to be using that. But no, the only thing you could do is you can download all of your connections. You used to be able to download the emails. You can't do that anymore, but you can still download all the names. And I think it includes job title, maybe company, and you could separate them in your Excel spreadsheet based on their job title.
Good idea.
I can't remember exactly what's included. Now you still have to then go back in manually and look them up. That's, I think, the best I can suggest for you for that.
Great. That's a great tip. So I just want everybody to know that Sandra's training, I just posted the link there, the video. So if you'd like to acquire that other class. What is this other class about again, Sandra? The link that I'm sharing with you? It's another video with another training, right? It's a more
that's
specific.
Just the one about if you want to be more than one thing.
That's right.
If you want to be shared.
Okay, if you want to be seeking jobs or starting a business at the same time. Okay.
I'm going to look at the chat now so that I can also see.
Good.
I see you put the link there. And you can also, that will also add you to my mailing list. You'll get that video. If you're not interested in the video, it'll also mean you'll get my newsletter with LinkedIn tips every 2 weeks. I will not spam you. And you can just unsubscribe if you don't want that.
So Elena has a question there. I didn't ask.
I see Patrice does too.
Okay. Yes, Patrice too.
Patrice, I'll answer your question, and then Patricia, you can tell me what the other questions are. So Patrice, you had this a long time, but you've done jobs on the side. Should you keep them on your profile? It depends. I can't remember what your business is. So sometimes those other businesses add to your credibility, to your knowledge that you have the experience, that you've done other things. A realtor who was in IT means they speak geek, they speak the technical language. A realtor, again, just use that example, who was a stay-at-home mom for years. My goodness, she knows all the best schools, the best places to shop, the best commute. You bring all of that to the table. If it really is irrelevant and you've been doing your business that long, maybe not. Or maybe you reference it in your summary. You know, my career has included businesses from this to whatever. Having other businesses, especially if they are ones that are big enough companies to have the logo, it means other people who work at that companies can find you, and that could be good for business development. So if you like, I'll take a look at your profile afterwards and kind of see, you know, what might make sense for you. And then always, if you've just got little individual questions about you, you know, I don't mind answering them if I can quickly, if you send me messages after.
So Elina's question is has to do with SEO. So you're saying if we engage our SEO, our search engine optimization will increase. If so, how often should we engage on LinkedIn?
Okay. Ideally, you want to engage every day. Like, comment, share. Minimal. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Some of us, I feel, say, I'm too busy. I say, how much time can you give me? 50 minutes? They say, no, I'm too busy. 10? No, can't. 5. Okay. So we plan a strategy of what they can do in 5 minutes. So like, comment, share, whatever, 5 minutes a day. If you want to post, if you're someone who does post content once or twice a week, it's great. And there are different types of posts. Some get more engagement than others. So if you're seeing you're pushing out posts and you're seeing no likes, no comments, you're doing the wrong kind of posts, and or you're not engaging. It's a bit like you just talk at someone all the time. You don't ever listen to them. They stop listening to you after a while. It needs to be both ways.
Great.
Any other questions?
I think we've covered them so far. I was wondering about the question that Patrice had with, you know, different roles that we've had. You know, there's sometimes even some roles that we don't want people to, because we don't want to be pigeonholed, right, into a career or job. It's like you're trying to get out of this and doing something different. And so should you basically completely eliminate that role that you had at some point, or
I would say it depends. Now,
right.
Sometimes there's a way of slightly shifting it by leaving the company name, changing. No, you're not trying to lie and give yourself a job title you didn't have. But for example, when I worked at the University of California, my official payroll job title was Program Promotions Manager 3.
Wow. Yeah.
And over 14 years at the last UC I was at, I was Program Promotions Manager 3, Level 1, Level 2, Level 3, which meant nothing. So I was allowed to call myself anything that made sense to my audience, because I worked with the community, so long as I did not use anybody else's payroll title. So I was Director of Corporate Training, Director of Communications during that time. So sometimes you can go to past jobs and you can leave the company, and maybe your job title was IT engineer specialist, and now you have a business. I can't think. I'm trying to think of examples off the top of my head. What maybe you could change your title, leave the company, and just put project manager or project coordinator. I can't think exactly, but something that's not, we're not lying, but just a little vaguer. Leave the company there and don't have the description of what you did. So you can do that. You could leave the company off entirely. And sometimes I think we need to embrace our past. When I worked for the university, I had like my education, my master's in theater degrees. My master's and my bachelor's are both in theater arts. So I had my degrees there, but I didn't have what they were in because I felt it wasn't very academic-y. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, when I started this business, now I embrace that. You know, that's a part of who I bring to the table. So sometimes you just got to find, you know, where you get comfortable with that.
Right, right. Yes. And then so somebody says, Elise, I've been ignoring my LinkedIn for my marketing effort, assuming that my target audience, the solopreneur into early stage biz owners, were not on LinkedIn. Am I wrong?
Sometimes the people you're trying to reach are not, they might be on LinkedIn, but they're not active. You know, I think there are people on LinkedIn that they might have other jobs, but they want to be solopreneurs. So if you're, if you want to talk to me offline, I'll have a little look at kind of what your business is, and see if I can get a better idea for you. And I'm not saying that everybody's on LinkedIn, or not everybody's active on LinkedIn. It's very hard to reach medical professionals on LinkedIn. It's very hard to reach a number of people in different industries. They might be there, but they're not using it. So yeah, talk to me offline, and I'll see if I can give you a better answer.
Okay. And I'm posting your email address too in the chat. So
yeah, and
if
they
anybody
can also
wants
communicate in LinkedIn too.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Email's great too. I like email. It's easier for me to track. Sometimes people assume I'm always on LinkedIn, and I am, but I actually have my notifications turned off, because otherwise I would be constantly distracted.
So
reach out with different questions and things. I love to stay in touch with people. It's part of what feeds my teacher soul.
Great. Unless anyone has a question here, I'll ask another one. I see. Yeah, please bring the question. This is your great opportunity to get direct answers from Sandra.
Right.
But,
and then as we finish up, I'm also going to challenge you all to write in the chat what you are going to do this week on your LinkedIn profile.
Great idea.
Write it down.
Accountability. So my question was originally, earlier I was wondering, you talked about keywords and how we should really be careful with keywords depending on what we want for the search engine, I suppose. But where is the best place to put the keywords? Is it anywhere on your profile, or is there a better spot, like in the About section? Or
it's several places. The LinkedIn algorithm looks at your headline, your job title and or your job description, your About section, your skills. Primarily those places. Now, it changes all the time, which it ranks higher, because people are trying to game the system all the time. So those places, you want to have it mentioned in general. You can't have every keyword in every place. That would look. I once had, I was doing some work with some benefits people at a company that did benefits. And if you did a search for the word benefits, there was a guy, not with this company, somewhere else, who always showed up number one for benefits. He had written the word benefits 37 times in his About section. Now he no longer shows up. LinkedIn caught him and took him down, but they're constantly trying to stop people gaming the system. But used appropriately, headline, About section, job title, and our job description throughout your profile.
What about people who want to seek a new job or thinking of getting into a new career or new job, but they don't want their boss to know or their company to know? Is there a way to, show seeking new opportunities without really putting in your title?
Well, you can only put that visible to recruiters. Oh, that's what it always was for you. Make it just visible to recruiters. Sometimes you also have to have that conversation. If you fix your LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn no longer sends out notifications to everybody about every change you make, whether you have that turned on or off. They just don't do that anymore. But if you want to have somebody notices you've improved your profile, and they say, "Oh, what? You're looking for a new job? I see you've fixed up your profile." And you go, you have to be ready with an answer. It's like, you know what? I realized I needed to have a great LinkedIn profile to represent my company professionally. If I'm a manager, I want to attract people to work for us, and I needed to look good. I realized that I was embarrassing myself and the company by not looking good. You kind of prepare for what that conversation is if they do notice, because you should have a good profile. No matter you're happy at a company forever, you're still representing your company.
So Patrice has a question. I have a weekly email I send to my list with tips and support for career changers. Should I be sharing this in a LinkedIn post?
Yes. And there are different ways of doing it. But yes, there are ways that make it look more attractive, that are more engaging. I will sometimes, it doesn't usually look very attractive to pin it to the featured, but I have shared it, as a post. Why not? See what happens.
What I do is, Patrice, we are in the same mastermind group. So what I do too is I often take one of my emails, turn into an article on LinkedIn, a Pulse article, and then share it, as a in my LinkedIn profile, but also with groups. So you can do that with articles. So your email, if it has some tips and support for career changers, you can write. It's easy to write an article in Pulse for that.
Absolutely. And if you do write content at all on LinkedIn, please do look at my blog post. You go to my website, you can search by topic. So put in the search posts, and because there are many different types of posts, different ones get different visibility. Again, LinkedIn changes the algorithm all the time about what they're promoting at any time, but it talks about the pros and cons of the different types of posts.
Okay. Do you mind showing that to us on your LinkedIn profile, where we can see that on your profile?
Let me see if I can get out of my. I'm having trouble getting all the way out. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do a little search for posts. And I try to keep, although some of my blogs or articles I've written a long time ago, I try to keep them updated so that they're still relevant and represent posting content on LinkedIn, so that they're still relevant and include. I just updated this week, where I added in the new thing. You can do polls on LinkedIn now, 4-question polls. It's kind of an interesting thing. Some of you might want to try, depending on what you do. So, you're ready to post, who sees it, what can I post? And I've got examples of all the things, what works best. So, and my newsletter this week coming up is all about posting. And should you pay someone to post for you?
Okay.
So we got one great question to finish things off with.
Well, I was wondering if we should let people speak, unmute everybody. I'm trying to unmute everybody here. Alicia, sorry, Alicia, I didn't see your question. I think it was sent just to me privately, which is why it was not in the chat. But Alicia is saying, I need to find my own clients, which are attorneys, insurance, business, etc. Since COVID, all my assignments via interpreter agency, Alicia is a translator, right? I think, got canceled. Agencies want me to go in person. Maybe many people do use Zoom now, and I don't have to go on site. I don't want to get sick. So are you asking, Alicia, if you should just do Zoom meetings? I'm not sure. I don't quite.
Are you asking if you can prospect on LinkedIn to find those people?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay, we don't have time to kind of go into detail, but you can do prospecting on LinkedIn. So you could do, I heard the word attorney, so I'm just going to use this as an example. I'm going to look for attorneys. And these are a little sluggish today. I'm going to go under people. I'm going to look for locations, because maybe I just want them in the San Francisco Bay Area. Maybe it doesn't matter, but let's say San Francisco Bay Area. I've narrowed it down from 2 million to 43,000. It's too many. Now I'm going to narrow it down to second degree. And that means I know somebody.
We can't see. Sorry, Sandra, we can't see.
Am I not sharing? Okay.
No.
It says you are screen sharing.
You're screen sharing the PowerPoint, but not your profile.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to reshare again.
Right.
Okay, so when I showed you the posting from my website as well, that didn't show, but hopefully, Patricia maybe put the link to that blog post in the notes. So I did attorneys. I chose people, I chose San Francisco Bay Area, and I chose second degree. And that means that all of these 8,600 people are, I know somebody who knows them. I've now got 8,600 people to look at to consider prospecting. So is that the kind of thing you were asking?
I'm not quite sure. Basically, I work via agencies. Those are the people I work for are the agencies clients. But I need to find my own clients because now, due to COVID, no more work.
Right.
And,
So this is, you can, if you know the job title of your clients, this will work.
okay.
If you don't, like if your clients are anybody and everyone, you know, doesn't work real well. But if your target clients have a job title, attorney, doctor, wealth manager, realtor, then you can find and you can prospect this way. And you can filter it down further. I've just kind of tried to show you basic.
Great.
Yeah, basically I'm trying to reach those that need Spanish interpretation.
So
you can't, I mean, to find someone, they're not necessarily going to put, you know, that's almost like a job search. You're looking for someone who's looking for a Spanish speaker. They're not going to have in their profile something that says, oh, and I only speak English, so if you speak Spanish, you'd be a great asset to our company. You know, I can't think how to find a search that would work for them, but there probably is. Just because I can't think about it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
So I have another question from Patrice, who's asking, is there value in starting a group or forum on LinkedIn for the type of client I serve, which are job changers?
Okay, great question. LinkedIn groups used to be wonderful. Then people started spamming them, so they weren't so good. Then LinkedIn came in and tried to fix them and then broke them completely. They then, the last couple of years, have been trying to fix them, and they have done some things. I can't say that I would recommend starting a group necessarily. To me, it seems a lot of work, but you certainly could. But finding groups where there are job seekers, there are literally hundreds of thousands of groups on LinkedIn. But one of the great things about groups, and you find your groups under the 9 dots here, you go to groups. And if you are a member of a group, like I'm a member of ProMatch, I'm no longer a job seeker, but I like to post content in there periodically to help them. I can go to that group. I can send a message to anybody in that group, even though I'm not connected to them.
Oh, really? Directly to them?
Second, third degree, I can send a message. Or maybe this would be prospects for me if my target were job seekers. So I could reach out to connect to them.
Great.
And I'm going to have to go here in a minute. Yeah. So if you want to got anything else that I can help with, I'm happy to continue the conversation with people offline as well.
So you all have Sandra's information, email. I'll be reposting the replay of this video, so you can go back to it. And I'll also include her contact information. Thank you, everyone who is showing up today. This was really, really exciting, and so glad that everybody who came here participated. I really appreciate that, and I'll say, you know, cheers to you, and keep looking for our Saturday morning brew and chat. I'm hoping to be able to bring some great speakers like Sandra again, with different topics that might be interested to you, either for job seekers or for people who I work with who want to start a new business. Take care. Okay. Thank you.
Great talking with you, and I look forward to continuing the conversation offline. Take care. Have a great Saturday.